of life. If I was to put this message, sentence this morning, Christ's ownership of your soul produces Christ-likeness in your life. The more that we allow our soul to be owned by Christ, the more we become Christ-like in our responses, in how we behave, in how we act, in how we think about things, and how we respond, and how we don't respond, how we don't think about things, how we unball our fists, and instead we extend our hand in friendship and in a handshake because we're spending time with Christ and He is the owner of our souls. When we give full ownership of our lives over to Christ, then our marital problems, our financial problems, our emotional problems, our social problems, they all have to line up under the ownership and the authority of Christ. As long as you own yourself, you own the stress. As long as you're the one who's figuring out what's next and how to get out of and what should I do, as long as that's your question, then your stress belongs to you. When we give ourselves fully over to Christ, and He starts to take ownership in our lives, and the cross of Christ starts to become alive inside of us, and the sacrifice of Christ for us on the cross, He starts to own our soul because He has a design for us, He has a direction for us. And the more that we submit ourselves to the authority of Christ, the more the authority of Christ starts to move out mountains out of our way, put peace in our minds, put happiness and joy in our tongue. It used to be a cursing tongue, now it's a blessing tongue, because we're under the full authority and weight of the blood of Jesus Christ. We've seen since Christ has entered into Jerusalem, different groups are challenging Him, groups that are not following after Christ. He's not said much to the disciples in this 12th chapter. He's talking to all these different groups who are coming in and they're challenging Him. We've seen for the last couple of weeks, he's been dealing with the Sanhedrin Council that made up mainly of the chief priests and the scribes and the elders, people who were religious. They had religious function. They had religious responsibility, but they did not have a personal relationship with Christ. And so they had a problem submitting to the authority of Christ because in their title, in their role, in their academic religious scholarship, they missed the power of who Christ was at work in their life. And this week, another group comes. This week it says